of our greatest delights when we're here in Provence is going out cycling for breakfast, whether it's to a cafe or simply buying something and sitting on a wall. Over the last few weeks I've taken you to some of our favourite spots, shared them on Instagram, and I've pulled them together for you here today. So I hope you enjoy our favourite little breakfast stops. So today you find me sat on the wall at Menerbes. This is one of our favourite spots, and often you see photos of it on Instagram, where Andy and I just come and sit on the wall, watch the view and put the world to rights for a while whilst we're out on the bike. Menerbes is a beautiful little village sat at one end of the valley. It's high up on a hill on a rocky promontory, and so I thought I'd sort of go through the view a bit with you this morning. I'm sat here with a pain au chocolat, just about to eat it, and I've had just one of those lovely moments where somebody said, "Oh, hello," and it's a lady that we've got to know each other a bit over Instagram, and we'd never met, so we've now met on the wall at Menerbes, like I met a lady from Canada last year in the same place. But let me show you the view anyway. So this is the old village, and going up to the top, there's a little house where the tree is in the distance. That's the house of Dora Maar, who was the muse of Picasso, an artist in her own right. It's a beautiful little village up through there, up towards the church. It sits on a little promontory, so there's a view out of the back onto the Luberon as well. And then I'll take you round. So just down here in the foreground, this is a lovely garden full of sculptures, and just below the wall. And quite often we'll sit here and you hear the warbling sound of bee eaters, and they're playing in the olive trees just down at the bottom. But the way we're looking is over towards Lacoste and Fontaine de Vaucluse, and then coming round just up on the hill in the distance, you can probably just see behind the trees is Gordes, obviously one of the most famous villages in the area, and a lovely place to visit. And then behind all of it you have towering Mont Ventoux. It always looks as if it's got snow on it, but it isn't. It's scree at the top, scree slopes. And yesterday it was the finish for one of the big races in the area, the Dénivelé Challenge, which was beautiful. Anyway, coming round, there's the plateau in front, and then it keeps coming round. The bottom is full of vineyards, as far as the eye can see, really, in this little valley here, before it goes up towards Lacoste and back where I'm going today. It's a beautiful view, and we can just sit here for ages and just watch the world pass by. As I say, just sitting, listening to the birds, watching what's going on in the valley. There's always something to watch, always something to see, and it's just a beautiful place to sit. So I'll leave you now. I'm going to get on with my pain au chocolat, which came with me from Bonnieux this morning, and I will no doubt see you soon. Bye bye. I've just cycled up this morning on one of our favourite rides up to Bonnieux. It's the most beautiful morning. I set out at about 7:30 because it's nice and cool, but I thought I'd show you the view that is another of our favourites that we sit and watch quite often, I suppose, because it is just beautiful. It takes you over the valley, across to Lacoste. It's the other end of the valley to the one I posted the other day at Menerbes. So when I show you, I'll point out where Menerbes is, but this is much more towards Apt, and the view you get is slightly different. So let me turn you around and show you. So I've just cycled up the hill, and I'm at the top of the village. It continues up round that corner up onto the top, and that's where I'm going next. But this is where we are. Menerbes is over in the far distance, way beyond that little lump in the foreground. But Bonnieux just climbs up the side of this hill. It's got two churches, one below us and one above us. And over on the other side of the valley there, you can just see Lacoste, which at the top is the Château de Sade, which is owned by Pierre Cardin. And there's beautiful sculptures on the terrace outside it. So coming round, the valley is just filled with agricultural fields, so wheat and spelt, but also lavender in the summer, and vines. There's quite a nice little winery at the bottom of the hill, the Cave de Bonnieux. But this is the one church, which is lovely. There's a brocante there in a couple of weeks, which takes place in the square below and around. And again, the ever-present Mont Ventoux in the distance, which looks magnificent today over the other side. wherever you see it, it always makes you want to go and cycle it. And then you keep going round down towards Apt, and it is the most beautiful view. In my ride up this morning, that's the view as I come up, and it is utterly spectacular. It is our favourite ride, I think. Whenever we come, that's the first ride we do. We come up to the village, cycle up and have a croissant or pain au chocolat. But today I'm going to head back over the Claparède to Caseneuve, which is a village above where we live, and then back sweeping down the hill, which means I'm not too tired to climb back up. Anyway, hope that's woken you up and given you a nice bright view of Provence in the morning, and speak to you again soon. This morning's ride, I headed off up to Simien-le-Rotonde because I just love breakfast up there. But I thought I'd come back down to Caseneuve on the way back home and just show you the view. Caseneuve's our home village, but we live at the bottom, so it's a 6-mile uphill climb to get here. But it is utterly beautiful. It's a bit like a miniature San Gimignano. If you've ever seen that in Tuscany, there's lots of little towers, and it's a bit like that here in the old village. But it's the view from here that's the most spectacular thing. A couple of weeks ago we came up in Fifi and came up to watch the sunset, and to be honest, it's probably one of the best places around here to do that. So let me show you the view and show you what I mean. So it starts off over here, and just over where I'm looking at the moment is over towards Auribeau and Castellet and the Menerbes. So this is one of the rides that we love to do. It takes us up, there's a lot of lavender fields up there, and it treks round through, and then there's a little village of Caseneuve just in front of us now. Again, another beautiful village with the most beautiful fountain in the centre of the square. And then the view goes on round, and just tucked into the bottom in front of us now is the old town of Apt. Apt is the city of the Luberon. It's a really lovely old town, ancient Roman heritage to it, and lots of Roman finds there. So a really lovely place to visit. It also has the most superb Saturday market, certainly one of the best in the area. And in the distance, just disappearing into the haze in the distance, you can see the end of the Luberon. And that, again, that's out beyond Menerbes, round to Maubec, and then just round the corner you'll find Cavaillon. And then the heights of Apt, with some really lovely vineyards up there. And then this is where we are in the hills in front of us here. But beyond, you can see as far as Gordes on a clear day, and then tucked behind, just over there, behind the edge of the hill, you can see Saint-Saturnin. And then round again, up to La Garde d'Apt, which is one of the highest points in the area, and quite a climb. So we are lucky to have this on our doorstep. As I say, probably one of the best places to watch the sunset, because you look straight down the valley and the sun disappears behind the hills in the distance. Just beautiful. It's also got an excellent pottery, and we're enjoying collecting a few pieces from there. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and now it's a lovely 6 kilometres back downhill, straight back for a drink. Cheerio! It's the most beautiful morning this morning, so I thought I'd bring you up to one of my favourite breakfast spots. Over the last few days I've been taking you around different walls where I like to sit on the bike, and this is one of the best. It's up at Gordes. The first time I rode it was with Andy over 30 years ago, when I honestly thought I was going to die by the time I got to the top. It was the biggest ride I'd ever done. But the view, it just stopped me in my tracks then, and it still does today. So I'm up here with a pain au chocolat. I've just cycled up from the valley floor, which I'll show you in a second, and it is just the most beautiful place. So let me turn you around and get started. If ever you've watched A Good Year, which is the most wonderful film set all in this area, this is one of the scenes you see at the beginning, on a beautiful evening, I would say, possibly morning, with the sunset and a plane flying over. I've never seen a plane flying over here, but this is Gordes. Gordes is the most beautiful hilltop village. It's set high above the valley, you can see it from miles around, and it has the most jaw-dropping view. It's one of the most beautiful villages in France, and it's easy to see why. But this is what makes it special. It's a bit hazy today, so you can't see it very clearly, but the view back down the valley, it takes in Roussillon, over towards Saint-Saturnin, across the whole valley floor, which is where I've just been cycling. and then across round to the Menerbes in the distance, and all the way round again. But this is probably the most beautiful view in the area, and I say that because I've cycled most of them, but this one just has something special, and it doesn't matter when you come up here how long you sit for. I can watch people turn up, take photographs, disappear again, but this is just somewhere I love to sit, and you watch the shadows shifting across the floor, people cycling behind. It is utterly breathtaking. So I've popped up on this. I'm going to get on with my pain au chocolat now, and I'll leave you with the view. Cheerio, till next time.